More breaking news now. Just in this very last second, Ghislaine Maxwell has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. That in the New York courthouse, the Thurgood Marshall Federal Courthouse in Manhattan. The judge has just given his verdict. 20 years in prison for Ghislaine Maxwell. That, of course, is for sexually, or helping Jeffrey Epstein, rather, to procure girls that he then sexually abused. Some 160 different girls, potentially victims of Jeffrey Epstein, in a paedophile scandal that spanned 2 decades and multiple continents. Jeffrey Epstein, of course, died in prison. He took his own life before, of course, he was officially tried and convicted of that. Ghislaine Maxwell arrested in 2020. She was convicted at the end of last year of procuring girls for him to sexually abuse. Now, there was a lot of options in front of that judge. That judge had everything from 5 years in prison. That's what Ghislaine Maxwell's defence team were arguing for. They said that she was as much of a victim as she was a participant. They wanted leniency. Up to what the prosecuting authorities, now they are asking for 30 years. The judge has gone for 20 years. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell will be in prison, we can now say for sure, for a very long time. She may well die in prison. She'll be into her 80s before she's released. That is a very long time in jail indeed. Doesn't end there. Ghislaine Maxwell has an appeal for her case. She wants to appeal her conviction first. She's going to do that. Once she appeals that, then she might get on to appealing that sentence. We don't know. That is still to play out. In the few minutes before she was sentenced, though, she did issue a pretty extraordinary apology to her victims. We didn't think she was going to do that. She said she hoped her sentencing will allow them peace and finality. She said it was her greatest regret to have ever met Jeffrey Epstein, as the British socialite prepared to hear the worst from that judge. Maxwell then went on to call Epstein a manipulative, cunning and controlling man who fooled everyone in his orbit. And she said she was sorry for the pain that his victims experienced. It is the greatest regret of my life that I ever met Jeffrey Epstein, she said. Now, that's pretty remarkable in itself because, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell never admitted to any wrongdoing whatsoever throughout her whole trial. She refused to talk about it. At times, she refused to take the stand altogether. She never talked about what happened. She has protected, certainly Epstein's memory now, of course, because he's dead. But there are a lot of other people potentially involved in this. There were facilitators. High-profile people have been named and associated with some very high-profile people indeed. None of that, of course, has come out yet. This is the first time tonight that Ghislaine Maxwell is talking about what happened and expressing her regret there, as the breaking news tonight we've just been reporting, she's been jailed for 20 years.